Hey Husker fans, Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald, and this is the 3 keys to Nebraska's game against North Dakota. Okay, quick recap of the Northwestern game. Nebraska plays really well through 2.5 quarters. Hey, right? Up 28-17, up 11 points, then the onside kick, then the momentum shifts, and then Nebraska kind of falls apart, really, on offense and defense, both of them. They didn't play well on either one. They had a bunch of 3-and-outs on offense. The defense got tired, worn out, gave up a touchdown, and wasn't able to get off the field fast enough in the fourth quarter on that penultimate drive for Northwestern. And so Nebraska, I think they were pretty sour after the game. They put a lot into it, and they didn't win. Mark Whipple said it best. We got to finish. Fourth quarter, they got to finish. I'm not sure that they'll have a 4-quarter game this week. North Dakota, an FCS team, not a bad one. They're from the Missouri Valley Conference. That is the SEC of the FCS. I'm not saying that North Dakota is going to take Nebraska to the fourth quarter, but I do think North Dakota can put a little bit of a scare into Nebraska. I think they can play better than Fordham did last season. North Dakota likes to blitz a lot. They like to bring a lot of pressure, and they like to run trick plays. They're very, very fond of that. They had a 21-7 lead over Utah State last year. If people don't recall, Utah State was the best team in the Mountain West last year. So North Dakota's no joke. They can play a little bit of football. They got a returning quarterback, all those things. Nebraska, meanwhile, 0-1 for, the third straight year. And so it's pretty frustrating for the Huskers. They have a home opener. We'll see if there's any splotches of empty stands at Memorial Stadium. Although it's a sellout, we'll see how many fans show up. All right, let's get right to the 3 keys. Again, this may not be a 4-quarter game. So key number 1, right, is to be able to handle the heat, literally and metaphorically. Literally in the sense that North Dakota is going to bring 5 or 6 guys just about every pass play. Now, Nebraska can sit back there and have 4 and 5 wide receivers, and North Dakota is going to get tricky. They're going to use some stunts. They're going to use different kinds of blitz packages. Guys will come from different spots. You won't know a defensive back is going to come, and then all of a sudden he will. So they're going to try to overwhelm Casey Thompson, sack him 3 or 4 times, maybe create a turnover, and Nebraska's got to be able to handle that. If they can handle it up front, they're going to have one-on-one matchups in the secondary, and those are one-on-one matchups that I anticipate Marcus Washington, Trey Palmer, Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda can win. But they've got to be able to handle that heat literally, then metaphorically. Nebraska's got to be able to handle the fact that the fans are going to be, they're going to be a little nervous, right? Especially if things don't go right early. Let's say North Dakota gets a 7-0 lead on a kick return or some sort of mistake. The kinds of things that have happened in Nebraska in the Frost era. Nebraska has to be able to handle that heat. They've got to be able to handle a little bit of displeasure and feel confident that over the course of 4 quarters, they're going to be the better team than North Dakota, not panic, not get behind early 14-0 because they're worried about what the fans think. So you got to handle the heat, literally, metaphorically. That's important. Key number 2, score a non-offensive touchdown. Do you know how long it's been since Nebraska's done that? It's been a while. It's been a long time, actually. Since the Penn State game in 2020, I believe. That's when the last time they got one of those, and Nebraska could really use one on Saturday. That's the kind of thing that gets a crowd going because it's unexpected, and that's the kind of thing that demoralizes an FCS team. Yes, I think Nebraska's going to move the ball on offense, but yes, Nebraska needs to be able to do something in special teams. How much would a kick return for a touchdown help? A lot. How much would an interception for a touchdown help? A lot. Those are the kinds of plays that Nebraska needs to be able to create so it doesn't put so much pressure on the offense to score 31 points on its own. And so getting a non-offensive touchdown, my sense is that the best bet for that is going to be maybe Trey Palmer or Anthony Grant on a kick return. I think this is an opportunity for Nebraska to spring one. Maybe they can even get after a punter and block a punt and return it that way. Something where they do some either on defense or in the special teams, they make a splash play that shifts the game. Okay, the final key, and this is not exactly to win the game, but this is something that I think is important. Over the next 2 weeks, you have an opportunity to really try out more than just 3 running backs, and they really just tried out 2. Against Northwestern, and that was Anthony Grant, who played well, and A.J. Allen, who, for his limited snaps, also played well. Jaquez Yant played a little bit. He was benched because he was kind of struggling, I think, with the atmosphere, and his eyes got a little bit big, according to Brian Applewhite on the radio, and so Yant didn't play a ton. It was mostly Grant, a little bit of Allen, and a little bit of Yant. You know who didn't play? Gabe Ervin and Ramir Johnson, and I think those 2 guys are probably going to get some opportunities against North Dakota. There's nothing Nebraska can do about not giving them those opportunities against Northwestern, but they can give them those opportunities against North Dakota. And I would love to see a situation where Nebraska's 5 backs, are able to kind of, battle it out a little bit and really figure out who the best guys are for situations. You've got to get guys on the field before you figure out exactly how they're going to perform. If you've liked some of the things that Gabe Ervin did in camp, you're going to have to put him on a football field and see if he can make somebody miss. If you like what Jaquez Yant brings to the table, then you're going to have to give him 4 or 5 carries on a drive, because Yant's not going to be the guy that takes 1 carry 55 yards the way Grant or potentially Allen would. Let me say this about Nebraska's running backs. I like the way that Anthony Grant played. He's really dangerous at the second level with that 46-yard touchdown, and I kind of liked A.J. Allen. I did think he missed an opportunity for a really long run on one of his carries. If he had taken that thing outside, I think it would have been a 30-yard play. Instead, it was about an 8 or 9-yard play. But there's a lot of potential there, and I know that the coaches really like him. But I think you have to have just a competition across the board, because as you get into the season, you've got to have more than one guy that you can count on. And not only that, not only a guy you can count on, but a guy who's good. Like, not just a guy that comes in and doesn't screw up, but does something to the defense. They have an opportunity with North Dakota and Georgia Southern over the next 2 weeks to work on who they're going to be for the last 8 games of the season. 9 games of the season. They have to work on who they're going to be, and they've got 2 games in which to do that. We'll see how well they do with it. I do like Nebraska in this game. I don't know if I like them by the point spread. They're favored by about 22 points. I'll go with 21. I think it'll be 35-14, maybe 38-17, somewhere in there. North Dakota will score a few points. Nebraska's defense needs a lot of work. We'll see if they continue to get better. But I am looking more at the offense and that special teams to put some points on the board and win this game for the Huskers. They'll go on next week to Georgia Southern. Okay. That is our 3 keys for the week. Follow the World-Herald for all of its tremendous coverage of Husker football. We'll have full pregame, full postgame, and all the reaction after that as well. Thanks, Husker fans.